These are the most overrated and underrated teams in Madden 23. Starting off on the overrated side, we're coming down to the 81 overall Washington Commanders. They're an 81 overall team despite having Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback and some pretty low overalls across the team. They do have some speed in the secondary and in offensive positions, but they don't really have anyone that breaks into that next tier. I'd probably put them in this bottom tier of teams until they can prove it. They should probably be like a 76 to a 78 and rated about 27th instead of 20th on the list. The second most overrated team in the NFL for Madden 23 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if you think I'm hating on the NFC East, you're right. But I think the Eagles are still massively overrated at an 85 overall. They have some really awesome offensive weapons in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, but their defense needs a lot of work, and you can't really rely on Big Play Slay and Fletcher Cox to make every single play. You're also going to have some pretty suspect linebackers. Nakobe Dean's a great project, but they're just not going to get the job done on that side of the ball. And then in a game that's going to feature a lot of skill-based passing and a lot of precision on your throws, you're going to need a pass-first quarterback, and Jalen just isn't that guy. I think they should be an 80-81 overall, ranked 19th in the league. Now, before we get into the most overrated team, let's go into some of the most underrated teams. The number 3 most underrated team for the NFL in Madden 23 is the New York Jets, and I know you're going to say, oh my god, the Jets stink, they're awful, they're awful. In terms of Madden, these Jets are not the Jets of old. They have a lot of really great pieces, a rebuilt offensive line, a phenomenal receiving core, a quarterback with 94 throw power, and then some awesome players on defense. Talk about Sauce Gardner, the speed of Javelin Guidry, Quinnen Williams up the middle, JJ from this draft. Like, they got so many really good guys. This team's gonna be really easy to rebuild in a franchise and really fun to play with in regs games. They come in at like a 79 overall. I think they should be like an 82, maybe an 83, and ranked 16th overall. In my opinion, the most disrespected team in Madden 23 overall is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know they've had a transition of quarterback from Big Ben to Kenny Pickett or Trubisky or Mason Rudolph, whoever that is. But if you're going to start Kenny Pickett, I really don't think he's any worse than Big Ben was. And this defense is only getting better with, if you think about Minka, Devin Bush, and of course, TJ Watt. Like, this team is so great and still has the offensive weapons from years of old. You still have Deontay Johnson. You just added George Pickens, and then Najee and Vermouth are still there. Like, this team is phenomenal. And, aside from being in a really tough AFC North, is going to contend. They should not be an 80 overall, and they should not be in the bottom 10 of the league in terms of teams. I think they're like an 83, 84 overall, and then ranked just ahead of the Jets at 15. Flipping back to the overrated side of the ball, the number 1 most overrated team is the Green Bay Packers. They're an 88 overall and ranked 4th of all teams in the NFL for Madden 23. I think that's just extremely high, given the fact that they lost Devontae Adams, given the fact that they've consistently underperformed Super Bowl expectations, and I just don't believe that they have the superstar roster that Madden seems to think they have. You have great players like Kenny Clark and Jair Alexander on the defensive side of the ball, and then on offense, it's really Aaron Rodgers, Bakhtiari, and Aaron Jones. Outside of that, we don't have anyone proven, and I really don't think the Packers should be this high. It's kind of just like being respectful to Aaron Rodgers because he won MVP that his team's this high. They should not be this high. I think they're like an 83 overall team and probably ranked 14th instead of 4. And before we get into the last team, make sure you comment, subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing with this video and what you want to see going into Madden 23. And last but not least, let's take a look at the number 1 most underrated team in Madden 23, and that is the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know I'll have to do a little bit of massaging here to try to get the right answer out, but Deshaun Watson is still an elite quarterback, and even though he missed last year, his overall and development trait are not accurate for the player he is. He's going to go up a lot throughout the year as he plays, if he plays. And there's just so much talent on this roster. You think about Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Schwartz has that speed. The offensive line is really, really solid. And then on defense, you have an elite playmaker at almost every single level with Myles Garrett, JOK, and Denzel Ward. These guys are just phenomenal. And an 84 overall ranking for them is just abysmally low. I think they're like an 88 or an 89 and should be at least top 5 in the NFL in terms of roster strength. That'll do it for today. See you guys in the next one.